Are you free to do the right thing? This question can be divided to two. What is freedom and what is right? Here we span two branches of philosophy, ethics and metaphysics. Ethics is concerned with the question of what is right and what is wrong, and whether such a distinction exists at all. On the other hand, whether free will exists or not is a question of metaphysics, the branch concerned with studying the nature of things including the self. Philosophers concerned with the problem of free will take one of two opposing perspectives, determinism or libertarianism, and a third one reconciling both of them, compatibilism. Determinism holds that all human actions are governed by universal law of cause and effect. As an analogy, this ball takes a definite path from a set of possible alternative pathways as it descends downhill. A path predetermined by the physical law governing the ball motion. Humans, in the same sense, are limited by the universal law of causality. Although many humans will consider themselves free, in other words, they are able to act according to their own needs and desires, determinists will disagree. They argue that free will is only an illusion arising from our inability to grasp our brain's complexity. For instance, you may think that one way or another you are free choosing which college to attend. Nevertheless, determinists would have argued that this action was a result of fundamental psychological forces causing them. Hard determinism has been criticized for its ethical consequences. According to Scanlon, this deterministic point of view that our actions, thoughts, and everything are controlled by external causal predetermined relations gives rise to the concept that we hold no responsibilities for any of our actions, including personal, moral, and substantive responsibilities. One impact of hard determinism is that when people have doubts about free will, they tend to have less support for retributive punishment. Retributive punishment is punishment aimed at making a person suffer for his misdeeds. In other words, having no control over our ideas and thoughts makes us innocent of their consequences, and therefore raising serious ethical problems including loss of justice. Another point is that a person who doubts free will tends to behave worse than a person who doesn't have such a skeptical view. One specific area in which behavior worsens is that such skepticism seems to incline people to be more willing to harm others. The other point is that it also inclines others to lie or cheat. Libertarianism, on the other hand, contended that we live in a world of possibilities rather than actualities. In a more existentialist sense, existence precedes essence. Back to the ball analogy, the hill is now upside down and the ball should climb uphill. The mover of the ball will have to decide each time which path to choose, and according to these choices he will end up in one of various places. For libertarians, humans are free agents creating their own lives. In other words, we give essence to our future self by the choices we make, not the other way around. Libertarianism avoids such a critique since they believe that everyone can be responsible for their actions and therefore can be judged for them. Libertarians claim that if we are not free in choosing what we want, this will increase the rate of crimes and injustice, and therefore following the libertarianism principle is ethically very important. Moreover, the libertarianism point of view would lead to spreading the concept of subjective relativism, and therefore defining the right and the wrong would be decided by the person himself. A refutation to that is the ethical absolutism. At least some general ethical rules should be applied universally. For instance, there should be a punishment for murdering, stealing, cheating, and all unethical crimes in order to achieve the ultimate justice and preserve the human value. Compatibilism comes to the rescue by an attempt to find a common ground for both views. Compatibilists such as Tace have redefined freedom in a sense that wouldn't be opposed by determinists. They divide constraints to internal and external ones. External constraints are factors that eliminate human freedom physically, like threats, while internal constraints are factors limiting human freedom that are within the individual, such as compulsions or obsessions. And when someone is compelled by external factors, he is not free, and when compelled by internal ones, he is free. Adding to this, Bertrand Russell, through agreeing that free choices are caused, stated that these free choices are themselves causes. Since he defined morality as the act from which the best possible outcome will yield, this act cannot be possible unless it can be caused. In doing so, he saves both morality and the causal laws. Therefore, a compatibilist view is necessary to rescue ethics and the laws of nature at the same time. Although compatibilism exists with many flavors with varying criticisms, yet we conclude that only one of them is inevitable.